Hello, good evening. Hello, thanks for coming, everyone. How's everyone doing? If you haven't been before, then welcome. Hope you're not too disappointed. So it's been a bit of a holiday. I'm running late today. I know it's really hard and weird to think of having a holiday when you're stuck at home and you can't do anything, but it's just been one of those days. I'm sure you're all feeling the same. If you're a third of the world, I think, is under quarantine. So that to me is just crazy. Anyway, here we all are, and here we are hoping that Bitcoin is going to rally. When I look at this Bitcoin chart, I use moving averages. I think they're a really good guide of trend, and I think they also work very well as dynamic support and resistance on a chart. In other words, when you pull back to them as support or resistance, they're a good place to buy or sell or do business. And in this chart, and you can see here, this pink line, for example, is a 20 moving average, and the blue line is a 50 moving average. And when we're in an uptrend, it works as a pretty good support. And when we're in a downtrend, it works as pretty good resistance. What happens when we get stuck in between the two of them is pretty much no man's land. And the thing is with moving averages, you really need them to slope. For example, way back when at the start of last year, when we had this really nice rally in Bitcoin, we knew we were in a trend because we had our moving averages with a slope. As soon as they flatten out, there is no trend anymore, and we kind of await, we bunch up, and we have a bit of a fight between the bulls and the bears, and we see which way we're going to go next. And that's pretty much what we're doing here. And we're doing it at a really good congestion zone. If I zoom out here on the weekly, and you look at what happened in the 6,000s before, this was just a horror zone, wasn't it? I'm going to take this red line away. But this was a horror zone of chop where, people kept trying to buy the support, and we couldn't get above and we couldn't get out, and we just got in a narrower and narrower range that eventually broke down. And I kind of really do believe that price has a bit of a memory. And so, this zone for Bitcoin is a bit of a sticky zone, so it certainly feels like it at the moment. Here we are again. So this is what I mean is if we look back, especially here in this bit here, this was a really troublesome zone, but very choppy when we were here, in fact most of the time. So back in the 6,000 chop zone. And so I think it's important when your moving averages are going flat, when everything is kind of not trending very well, and when you have really choppy overlapping price action, which is what we've had so far in this rally, it's important not to be too stubborn in your view about whether we're going up or down, and instead react to what you see. So for me, up until these moving averages, it has been not trendy. Choppy, overlapping swings is not a trend. But I think if we've done this before, we've had it really choppy and sideways, and then when we break above these moving averages, we tend to see a trend move. And so I'm really hoping that that's what's going to happen here. You can see way back when, at the start of 2019, we had a bit of a rally, and then we had spent a long time, flat moving averages, just kind of grinding it out. And then suddenly we went up, and up we went into a trend. And so I'm not saying that because this price action looks like this, that we have to go lower. It does look like a nasty rising wedge, which should kind of break down and be really bearish. But if we get through this resistance and we start, in crypto, there are very few fundamentals. There's very few fundamentals for Bitcoin. The most important fundamental for Bitcoin is price, and is it going up or down? And that if it's going up, people would chase it. So that is the most important fundamental. So I think if we can get through this resistance and through 7,500 and above this daily 50, which has capped us, this daily 50 moving average all last week, every time we tagged it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, that was the high of the day. So that's our objective. All the time we're down here, this is moving lower and lower. It's now, when we started, we needed to get above 7,500. Now we really only need to get above 7,150, and we've broken it, and we're on our way up. So that's where we are. Now, when I am looking at a reversal, for me, I look at fib retrace levels for confirmations of reversals. So when I looked at this rally and this consolidation here, for example, I put my fibs on from this low to this high, and initially we sat on this 236 fib level here, and when it broke, for me that was the confirmation of the reversal. And so that's how I use a 236 fib level. For me it's like a fib confirmation. So here, when we look at the rally that we've had in Bitcoin, we're going to do the same thing from the spike low, and we're going to say that this 236 fib level, now that we've broken underneath this 20 moving average, is our first support. And if we close underneath it, it's at 6,614 here at Bitstamp. If we close underneath it, that confirms the bearish reversal, and we are on our way in a much bigger correction at probably at least 50% of this, and potentially a retest of the lows, if not another leg. So that's how I'm trading Bitcoin, and I'm long at the moment as long as we stay above. I'm long from lower, and I'm going to stay in as long as we stay above 6,600. If we have a daily close underneath there, then I'm out, and I'm going to wait and buy it back. And it's, you know, one of the reasons that I think that we might only come back 50%. There's no guarantee. We could make a new low from a rising wedge like this, but because this rally that we've had has come to approximately 50% of this last swing, which is, it tried really hard here, which is kind of one of those, it's not a fib level, it's like a correction thing. You see 50% retraces and kind of mean reversion in a correcting market. Because this was a 50%, then very often you'll see 50% the other way. So that's where I would be looking. But for now, I'm going to hold on. We're in a sideways range. We've got flat moving averages, and we've held that 6,600 level. I'm going to look for the 200-day moving average here on the upside next, which is around 8,000. And I think the top of the channel, I was originally looking for 8,500. That's to do with a fib rule from this low to high here. When you reverse at an 886 fib, which we did here, then you should go back to, this is an 886 fib retrace from this low to this high. You should go to at least the 50% normally, which from here would be 8,500. But I think, actually, we go higher. So we're not going anywhere though if we can't get above that daily 50. So that's what I'm looking for. Pretty neutral at the moment, looking for higher. Now lately, as in since the start of the year for sure, Bitcoin has been very, very correlated with, I don't know if I've got a chart here, I thought I did have it, very, very correlated with the stock indexes, and that's a bit of a problem. No, I haven't got it here, hold on. Okay. Okay, I thought I had the chart ready. Very, very correlated with stock indexes, and of course they've been having a really bad time with this coronavirus and the stimulus and a huge volatility. So I've been watching very closely, and you should too, what happens in these stock indexes, because if they break down, then Bitcoin will too. And so here, this is a chart of the S&P 500. Here you can see we're at the 500. We're at the 50% retrace level, and we've had a bit of a pause here on the daily. We paused at the 38.2. We came all the way back to the 236 fib. You know, we've been respecting these fib levels pretty well, and so this one we probably should too. If we get above it, we'll look for the 61.8 next. But how would we know if we reversed here? Well, I'm going to do the fibs the other way. Obviously, we've got much further to fall here. And I'm going to say, you know, below this 236 fib, below 2663, that would be a bearish reversal. And really the daily, I think, 20 moving average here. Again, in this S&P, I think we're in no man's land. It's not a bearish reversal yet. It's just a pause. And very often after a 3-day holiday weekend, which we've had, you'll see the trend change immediately after the holiday before kind of positions are re-established. So big deal retrace level in the S&P, big deal retrace level in the NASDAQ. But look at today's candle. Like, you know, this is not a bearish reversal. On this is the NASDAQ 100 on Friday, no, not Friday, Thursday. because Friday the markets were closed. We closed above this 200 moving average, and we closed above this 50% level that we couldn't close above before. So this is starting to look a little bit more promising, isn't it? Still underneath this daily 50, but then if the Nasdaq is leading, then it looks like we're going to go higher. We'll go higher in the other indexes, and that will help Bitcoin. And people say, why are they correlated? Well, when we're in a global, we've seen Bitcoin sell off before big holidays like Christmas. And people sometimes just want the money, or they want to protect the money. We're in a global pandemic, and people need money to eat. A lot of people, like if this carries on for too long, it's going to be catastrophic for a lot of the markets that the Fed aren't pumping. I think eventually the more and more money that the Fed and the central banks put in will weaken fiat currencies. So all of this stimulus is massively bearish for the US dollar. And so eventually the assets will go up. Stocks, gold, housing, and Bitcoin, hopefully. So I'm not too pessimistic, but while we're in this place, while people don't have jobs, while we potentially could have a major depression on our hands, we might not be rallying straight away, no matter how much stimulus they pump. So we just have to get through it, unfortunately. If you're having a really rough time, I sympathize, beyond sympathy. This is the scariest thing I've ever seen. So, and I'm not scared of the virus. I'm really scared of the damage that we're doing to our economy. Really scared. Okay, on that happy note, the Russell, the other one, the one that I'm really rushing as well, the Russell has made what looks like an ABC correction. That's also at a big 38.2 fib retrace levels from these highs in September 2018. So all of these US indexes are potentially at major reversal levels, and so we need to keep an eye on them. I'm a little bit cheered on by that Nasdaq, and so hopefully if that's leading the way, then we'll be all right. But it could really honestly go either way at the moment. It could go either way. We're starting to see in the UK, in Spain, in France, in New York, we're starting to see the number of deaths kind of flatten out a bit. I'm not saying they're going down yet. And the market's going to be watching that quite closely, because the market wants to know when stuff is going to open up again, because the longer it's closed, the harder this is going to be. Okay, so that's Bitcoin and the stock market and where we are with those. All eyes on that Nasdaq to see if it can pull everything else up higher. Okay, and this potentially nice bullish close in Bitcoin. I'm really impressed with this bounce off this 236 fib level. I'd be even more impressed if we get a little bit higher than the 20 moving average, but I'm not going to ask for too much at the moment. I think it's looking really good. If we take a look at Ethereum in a slightly different position, I've drawn my fibs in this one from this high to this low, and the reason is that this had this perfect reaction for the 236 fib, but if I draw it the same as Bitcoin like this, it's kind of a messy 236 fib and not much kind of lines up. I probably should keep it on here just in case though. If we do it this way, then these previous highs and the 20 moving average are where the support are for Ethereum. We've had a little look underneath today and we're bouncing back above it. So again, this looks like quite a nice kind of bullish close. We've stabilized, we've stopped going down. Now we need to see if we're going to break higher. Remember those fibs, I'm going to take the big ones away. Here, obviously we've got our hourly moving averages to get through, but just little short term, what would say that ETH is going to start rallying again from here against the US dollar. This little 236 fib level, 156.68 Coinbase prices that is, and this hourly 50 moving average. If we can do that, we'll go back to these highs, and if we can get beyond those highs, that's where the really major resistance is, then I think got a next swing higher in Ethereum. But for now, I'm impressed with, even though we've had a look underneath, how we're holding that support level. If I look at Bitcoin, because we've been going through a phase, we've got the halving coming up beginning of May, first week of May, I think, for Bitcoin. And I have been seeing a bit of diversification. People seem to be getting out of Bitcoin and into some of the other major alts, mainly I think because of the uncertainty. And so when I look at Bitcoin here on this 4-hour chart, this to me looks like a lovely bullish flag. And I think actually ETH is set to outperform here. Here's the pennant, really. It is a pennant, isn't it? So if this flag can break to the upside, we've already got our bullish reversal, then happy days. ETH should outperform. And most of these bigger alts that I've looked at also should outperform as well, but definitely Ethereum is one of them. Okay, I know I haven't got a list tonight, but I have got a list of the ones that I was asked to do. So we're going to look at we're just going to have a quick look at some of the bigger altcoins here. Some of them are set up quite nicely and some of them are not so much. Litecoin is not so much. Litecoin US dollar, breaking down from this wedge, it looks a bit rough, doesn't it? And if we put our fibs on in this one, are we also, did we break down? We really did break down in this one. And so I think we've got more downside to come in Litecoin US dollar. And if we look at, so Litecoin is not one of the bigger alts that is getting the attention or the money. If we take a look at this, Litecoin Bitcoin as well, we're underperforming Bitcoin. So for me, Litecoin isn't one of them, but ETH is one of the ones that is doing really, really well. If we take a look at some of the Bitcoin Cash, we're going to look at BSV, US dollar Tether. It's quite astonishing to me. Sometimes I just have to shake my head at how this coin does, but it does. Big picture, this made a big ABC and came back all the way back to these lows and bounced really nicely. We've had one leg higher, a nice ABC correction here, and this second leg higher. The issue is the second leg higher hasn't even got to an equal measured move yet. In fact, we've got more room to go higher. This pink line up here that I've drawn is the target area, because I think if we make a new high above 211, we should get to at least 250 in Bitcoin Cash SV. And if we get up there, we're looking at 50% back of this big drop. So far, so good. At the moment, though, we're all bunched up here in the middle. I'm a little bit bearish. You know, whenever you see a big candle like this, so for example, see this big green one here, a Maribosu candle where you have small tails and a big real body. With these kind of shaped candles, the 50% back of the open close is support and resistance very often if you're going to keep trending. So if I measure on this candle here, I'm just going to take the other settings away. We'll just look where that 50% is, for example. There we go. 149.20. 149, and if we mark where 149 was, you'd just be amazed how often this works. So that's 151. Wait, let's get this down. Here we go, 149 there. So there we go. And that's where the support was, and we bounced from it and we rallied. Not only that, but it got retested and it worked. First time back, see this red candle, 50% of this red candle. It's not a reversal till we go beyond 50% of the body of this one, and so on. And so here now, when we look at this big down candle we have here, we just say the same. You know, we've got a reversal in terms of Japanese candlesticks. When we get above 196, and we haven't been able to clear 196, that's where my red line is. So 196 is our objective. When we look down, lower time frames, yeah, we really need to close and hold above 196 for me, for this to say we're really going higher in terms of daily candlesticks. And in terms of everything else, you know, this is just trendless, isn't it? Our daily moving averages are completely flat. I think, how many days a week are we away from the halving in this one? Aren't we nearly there? Like, we're really nearly there, aren't we? I think that it's all going to go very quiet until we get through the halving in BSV, and then it should rally. We should rally at least 50% back of this drop, and then we'll see what happens there. But, yeah. If you're in it, use stops, you know, with this halving coming up. So BSV, I'm a little bit neutral. Sorry about that. Well, let's take a look at a couple more. Ripple's been requested by a lot of people because Ripple is really trying. Now, in terms of candlesticks that we just talked about, here in Ripple, you know, this first day we struggled to get beyond 50% of our big down candle. In fact, we struggled for a couple of days. Now we're above it, and actually we have got a little bit of a move on. How high are we going to go from here, though? I think we're going to look at this big swing and, you know, maybe 50% back. At the moment, Ripple Tether on all time frames, we are in a little bit of a down swing. If we put our fib projections on, so for me, each swing, I'm looking for 1272 or 1.618 of the previous swing. So 1272, 1.618. So from this swing, and I put it on the correction. So we're in a downtrend. I put my fib on the low to the high in the correction. And you can see 1272 was support here, 1.618 was where we stopped. And I look at the most recent one as well. So we'll look at this most recent one. Here's our 1272. Here's our 1.618. So got double support here going on, haven't we? If we put a few more on, we probably have a few. Let's see. So potentially there's some support here to make a bottom in Ripple dollar on this weekly chart. But we've got a bit of work to do. If we look at it now as a wedge, say a declining wedge, I think I might need to go back to the weekly to start drawing this. And we'll start with these highs and we'll extend our this way, and then so we've got at least 2 touches on the upside, which is what you need, and at least 2 touches on the bottom. So this is our declining wedge. So any longs, you know, we're going to look for the top rail of this wedge. I think potentially this support and resistance level at 0.28, and then we can say that we're probably in an uptrend beyond that. So we've got a lot of work to do. If we go all the way from this big swing, our objective is going to be the first 236 fib, isn't it? And there it is, lines up with this upper trend line. So I would give, that's from this high, so this last swing lower, this 236 fib level, I would have that 0.266 as my upside target. But it's going to be tricky. We've got this daily moving average to get through and a lot of work to do, I think. So this 20 moving average, sorry. So here we are, low time frame. Here's our objective up here, top of the swing. And if we put our just this most recent swing fib levels on and see where our support is. So this 236 fib level here, we're stalled at the 38.2, and then we're going to look for the, which is messy, 50% next, and so on. So again, on this daily, we're all bunched up in between these daily moving averages, no trend. We really could go either way, you know. We could do a big swing down here and retest the lows and it wouldn't look weird at all. Or we could just carry on and push higher and just creep all the way up. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days stuck in between, in fact no, 10 days now in between these daily moving averages in a narrower and narrower range. So above this 0.195 we're bullish again, and above this daily 50 and a close below this previous low from 3 days ago, which is 0.1811. Down we go, I think. Have to wait and see. Now, do we want to be buying Ripple? Is it outperforming Bitcoin? I think it is. I think it is one of the ones that is looking, yeah, it is. Bullish cross of these moving averages. Again, we've got this channel that we're in, it's a smaller one down here against Ripple Bitcoin. Top of the channel is going to be the first place we're going to look. And then we'll see if we can break out from there. All of our moving averages are bunched up, super tight. And, you know, this is what you see before your big move. It's just, we really do need to break out to get our big move. Now, if we can break out of this wedge, we've got this lovely double bottom here. So twice the height. So when you have a double bottom, look, left, right side, this is the high in the middle. We should go twice the distance. And that's going to take us to this. If we go to our monthly, that will take us, in fact, no, monthly. In Ripple, we're bouncing from a big 886 fib level. So fibs are like a staircase. When you break one, you go back and you retest the one you broke. So the 786 fib up here would be our objective. If we can get to it, that's at 4,917. So if we break out from our daily wedge in Ripple, 4,917 would be not only our double bottom target, but our fib target as well. So a lot to look forward to. 3,100 around there is going to be where we're looking. So that's Ripple and Ripple Bitcoin. Yeah, I do think it's worth it. One other one that nobody's talking about very much is BNB now. Got very fashionable to like, oh, Binance. But they announced they were buying CoinMarketCap a couple of weeks ago. And since then, or in fact a week ago, since then we've seen really nice, strong, you know, it's been a bit of a grinder, but we're in exactly the same position as Bitcoin, stuck in between our daily moving averages, flat, little bit neutral. If we look left, we are holding pretty nice support. And we've got the same issue. If we can break above the daily 50 moving average from this consolidation here, we've got a really nice chance to take on the 200 moving average and then back to the top of the channel in this one. I also like BNB, and if we're going to look for a fib level to confirm that, this 61.8, 15.43 Binance Coin Tether would be confirmation of the next swing higher. But if we look at BNB Bitcoin, it's one of the few that looks really nice against BNB Bitcoin. Look at how, I'm going to make this a horizontal. Okay, this is a daily chart. This is, and in fact, we'll start with a weekly. Look at this lovely, how we've held this 61.8 fib level here. We've been testing it since September last year. Every time we do, we find support. And every time we do, we go back to the top of the range, which is this 50 fib level, because we're trying to do the golden ratio zone, aren't we? And so that's 24,146. So with this rally, that's our target. And that's the monthly 50 moving average as well. Now, that's starting to look, let's not say head and shoulders or anything like that, but it does start to look like a pretty nice triple bottom. And yeah, really nice long setup, to be quite honest. That's what a bottom could look like. At least we'll see the top of the channel anyway. 24,146. So I'm a little bit bullish. This one's short term. We've broken above resistance today, and we've had a really nice breakout above the daily 200 moving average. In fact, we've done it pretty recently today. So all looking really nice. Buy pullbacks. Remember, corrections are normally 3 waves. So like A, B, C. And so this here, A, B. Don't be surprised if we do another one before we rally. But BNB, lovely breakout today. And looking for 24,000 next and the top of the range in that one. Nobody requested that one. I put that one in, sorry. Okay, so we looked at those. Zen and WFC and WRX are requested. So we're going to start with Zen. Now, Horizon. Let's start with the monthly chart of this one. If I put my fibs on from this low to this high, this is another lovely 61.8 level here. So there's lots to like about this level. Here on the weekly, if we look at the support and resistance, look at these highs. Here, if we extend this level and these lows. So this is a really important level. Now we come to the daily. Have we lost the level? It looks like we might have, doesn't it? Looks like we've slipped underneath it, which is a little bit of a concern. So, because if we do, after such a valiant attempt at trying to hold it, then we've got a long way to drop, because we'll drop down in Zen to this 786 fib next, which is all the way down here. So recovering this 61.8 level that it looks like we've broken underneath becomes really important. So here we're looking at it on a 4-hour. Have we made any grounds to regain it? Not yet. If we look at it on an hourly, so if you want to get bullish, here we go. You know, very often when we break levels that we're looking to hold, and in fact this is a little bit higher, isn't it? There it is, a little bit higher. Double bottom level here. Support, support. Okay, that becomes the level we've got to get above, really, 7,900. Very often when you overshoot levels that you thought you would hold, you see a nice bottoming pattern or an inverted head and shoulders pattern. It looks pretty good here. Here's our double bottom with a bit of a little swing failure here. Here's the high, low level here in the middle. So this is what we've got next turn. Hopefully, if we can break above it, that will be bullish. But if we can't, if we come all the way back down here and then we lose these lows, that's your exit signal. This level hasn't held in Zen. So really need to see it above 7,900 if you were going to buy more or add to your position. And if we lose 7,700 after this rejection here, it really is time to get out. We are going to see quite a drop to this next fib level, which is down at 6,050. So WRX, I know I've only looked at it against, that's Horizon, sorry. I know I've only looked at it against Bitcoin, but just be careful. Let's see. I don't think it shouldn't look any better against the dollar, but we'll take a quick look. Yeah. See, for me, when I look at it against the dollar, and I look at these daily moving averages, this looks very bear flaggish and underneath these daily moving averages. So, you know, this doesn't change my mind about it's really important that we rally from here and start to outperform. So need to break higher, need to break these highs in this 200 moving average. So above 7.1 Zen US dollar tether. Okay, WRX. I got asked for some stocks tonight. We're going to have a chat about oil and what's going on in oil after this as well. But here's WRX. Now, I really like this WRX chart a lot. Okay, I feel like let's start everything with a clean chart. Here's a daily chart of WRX Bitcoin. Okay, we just mentioned that corrections are normally 3 waves, ABCs. Best ones are equal measured moves. So if you put an equal measured move on here, like or they are where second swing is 61.8 of the first swing. So here we had a really nice rally, ABC correction, rally carried on. What we're looking for here, so we're looking to start going up again from this big 61.8 level, from this low to this high. We're stuck between the golden ratio zone. So if I put my fibs on from here and I put on the 61.8, okay, if I did it wrong, yeah, we've bounced from the 61.8. Here we went back and forward. Now we start to rally, and I'm looking for the next leg higher to begin, but this 236 has been resistance. So we've had a really strong rally. This looks to me like a perfect ABC, and I'm looking for the next leg higher to begin. So let's measure it. It looks all good to go. There, textbook ABC correction. Above 1931, we should see the next swing up. So it's a bull flag in WRX, if you like. So here's our flag on the high. So our confirmation will be breaking out from the flag. I know I always say the same thing, but third touches of trend lines are very often false breaks. So you'll touch the trend line, false break, come back, and then so expect a little bit of a bun fight. But yeah, I think WRX looks great here for next leg higher, for sure. So where is our target going to be? This time I'm going to put the fibs this way, because we've done this 61.8, 38.2 thing again. Now, sometimes if we're going to stay bearish and this is not the reversal pattern that we think it is, then the 786 fib would be where we make a Gartley pattern. So we need to be a little bit careful here. 23.85. So on a breakout, 23.85 would be my first target, but then I'd be looking for new highs, 3,023 and 3,476 in WRX Bitcoin. I might, yeah, 3,000 and 3,400 would be where I'd be looking for in WRX if we can break out from this bullish flag. So looking pretty good. Short term, we've had this rally, consolidation, so we can do the same thing here. Short term, break from this consolidation takes us to the top of our flag, break out from the top of the flag takes us, and so on. We'll do it like that. Oops, I've moved it. So WRX, yeah, I really like that chart a lot. Now, what haven't I looked at in the crypto world that was requested? I know I missed some on Twitter, so I'm just going to have a quick look. Somebody's asking for Sol. Is that a stock or is that a crypto? If it's a crypto, it's not one I know, but I'm happy to look at it. Captain Nemo asked for ETH, and we've done ETH. So just Atom. So we're going to take a quick peek at Atom. Cosmos, Atom. Lots to like about this one. Lots to like. Except that we're sideways, just like everything else. So this is a daily chart of Atom Bitcoin. We bounced from a 786 fib level. When you bounce from a 786 fib level, if you get above the 61.8, which is the one above that you broke, then your target is always, first target is back to the 38.2. So our trade, if you like, the meat in our sandwich is between 3,600 and our target's 4,777. Problem is, we've rallied from this level once, got rejected there, got rejected there, got rejected there. So we're not really going up unless we can get above 3,630 in Cosmos Bitcoin. And we're stuck in this sideways range until we do. This is, again, like, how many of these look like Bitcoin dollar? Holding the 20 moving average, sideways, stuck between flat moving averages. Could we rally from here and have another go? Yeah, we could very easily. We could if we hold this 20 moving average. There's lots to like about this. If we look at it on an hourly, let's see. There's lots to like here with an ABC and a higher low. It was quite a deep pullback though, wasn't it? So any longs here, obviously, if we break out from this short-term hourly channel, then we're going to look for that important resistance, 3,600, and then above there we're super bullish for a really nice long swing trade in Atom. So yeah, in fact it looks pretty good right now, doesn't it? For me, this would be a buy setup on my trading strategy. If we break out from here right now, momentum's with us, everything says good to go for Atom Bitcoin. Target 3634, and then above there 4,771. Okay, Sol. Now I'm not sure if Sol, here we go. Now this is quite a new this is quite a new coin, so I'm going to put on 5 days, 5 days. It's quite hard. I'm going to say it's quite hard to do technical analysis on something that has not been open for such a short time. Everything kind of takes its time to calm down. We've got a bit of a level here, which was the closing price on the first candle, but you know, Let's see. We'll put some fibs on and see where we are. I really don't know very much about this coin, and to be honest, we just don't have enough information. It all needs to calm down. What you do find very often is 50%. The fib levels from the first swing or the first day. Let's go back to the first day. That is the first day. Fib levels very often work. And if we put our 50% on, like this, you can see how we're sitting on above it. So the pink line is 50% from this low to high. This could very well be support for another leg higher, but you know, it's all meaningless this early. You know, it really is. I think if we drop down into the bottom half, you will see the low rate retested. They very often are. Depends. If one goes up, they all go up, you know. So sorry, not really enough information for us to do technical analysis on that one. Okay, I'm going to have a quick chat about currencies because I can see quite a lot of dollar weakness going on at the moment. And I can see particularly dollar weakness against, rather than just the kind of the major currencies, you know, like the euro and the pound and the Aussie dollar and the Canadian dollar, you know, all of these charts, when we look at the exotic currencies, they call them the Singapore dollar, the Norwegian dollar, the Brazilian real, the Israeli shekel, everything says dollar weakness. And so people are saying to me, why then, if we've got all this dollar weakness, why isn't the euro rallying against the dollar? And the reason is that the euro is a funding currency. So in Europe, they have negative interest rates. So big funds borrow when people are feeling like they risk on and they want to invest in things, they borrow in euros. Okay, so euro goes up, and when things get stressed and the stock market is selling off, they pay back those euros, and so the euro gets bought. It's a funding currency. So that's not the best trade if you want to trade dollar weakness. But if we look at all of the others, we're seeing really nice setups in some of these. I'm going to start with the Aussie dollar here on a monthly chart. We've bounced from a really cool level down here in this Aussie dollar. Last minute save at this 766, but really we've been all the way down to this 886 fib, which the Aussie dollar absolutely loves. When you get a reversal at an 886 fib, which we have in the Aussie dollar here, and you get back above the 786 fib, which we have, your target is back to the 50%. So up here, so in terms of a swing target, we are at 0.63 at the moment, and our swing target up here in the Aussie dollar is 0.79. Why would we do that? Because honestly, there's so much stimulus in the US dollar. It's going to weaken it, and it's an election year. Trump wants the dollar weakened and to stay weak all year so that the stimulus works. So I think we've got a really nice, if you can get in on it, swing trade in this Aussie dollar. I think we've got the same thing going on here in this Kiwi dollar. I'm going to go to the monthly. It's just a matter of getting an entry. Okay, now let's take everything off this chart and we'll start with clean chart. Okay, so if we take our fibs from these big low to this high, this big ABC rally, when you have what you think is an ABC or two legs like this, I put my fibs on both swings, so the big swing here, and you can see if you've done it right by how the market behaves at levels. So for example, first time at this 236 at this 50%, we had a bit of a thing, and at this 61.8, it does look like we've had a bit of rally. If I'm wrong, then the market is not. It's looking at this most recent swing instead. Either way, we've got an important fib level that we've bounced from here. On the short term, we bounced from a nice 786. If we can get above the 61.8, which is here, we've got a bigger swing going on in this Kiwi up to the 38.2. Okay, if we take this bigger, okay, like this, then this is a 61.8, and our minimum target is this 38.2. Sometimes we go back to the 236 fib though. So either way, the more conservative lower target for the Kiwi is 0.695 if we get above this level in the middle. So looking quite good for reversals in some of these. If we measure the legs in this high to low, this is one of those swings where this second swing is 61.8 of this first one, and this likes to make big ABC corrections, this Kiwi. So I am pretty bullish, bearish the dollar with this one. In fact, most of them that I look at, somebody said, one of the other ones that I really like the look of is this Canadian. Now, I had a big target up here, but we've double topped. If this is a monthly chart, from this high to this low, we've double topped at this 786 fib level. I think we're going to come back and try and find some support in this. And if we do, it will be back to the previous fib level of this 61.8, which is down here at 1.34. So we've got a nice bit of further to fall in this one. We've lost today these previous lows. We've lost the 20 moving average, even though these moving averages are flat. So now we're in between them. So we've got much further to fall in this dollar Canadian as well. Looking quite good, actually, for the Canadian. I'm just seeing if there's any questions about... Oh, Daniel says, thanks, that was a brilliant fab lesson on moving. Oh, you're very welcome. Oh, the BCH halving is done. Thank you. It's only one left is Bitcoin. I think everything's waiting on Bitcoin, and we've got, a few weeks for Bitcoin, so we're going to have to... Thank you. Okay. So that's how I feel about the currencies, and the dollar is king. Now, the thing about a weak dollar is that's really good for commodities. It's really good for gold. It's really good for silver. It's really good for most commodities, particularly commodities like sugar and cocoa. They're all priced. They're very sensitive to dollar movements. Now, if I put regular candles on here, we look at the daily chart of this silver and this most recent swingy lower in silver. Had a little bit of this pause here at this 50% level in the middle, but the 61.8 is where our daily 50 moving averages. We look like we're trying to break higher in silver. And when we look at this hourly here in this consolidation, I'd like to see this hold above this support and carry on higher in silver. In gold, I had a long-term target. I put my fibs from this high to the low and had a long-term target of 1733 in the spot, which is a big 786 fib level. Haven't quite got there yet. We're at 718, so definitely more upside. I'm not sure that I would buy gold though, especially if we think that stocks are going to rally, but I think it's got a room to go a little bit higher. I think I'd prefer silver at this point, and the gold-silver ratio is so extreme at the moment, it does suggest that silvers do a little bit of a snap. So just watch out for 1733 in gold spot if you are looking at that one. Now, if you're a futures trader and you're listening here, you're going to think, oh, she's teaching us to suck eggs. But if you're not, and this is really for new traders, a lot of people are saying today, why is the price of oil going down when they've made this big OPEC deal? And the reason is, if you're looking at a chart and you're trading it at a retail broker or contracts for difference, you are looking at the front month of oil, the oil that's about to be released in the next, month. And at the moment, everybody's shut down, coronavirus, there's no demand at the moment for oil. The price of oil, if we look at, for example, if we look at our June contract, the price of oil is trading at 29, and we haven't really pulled back very much. But most people are looking at the May contract in oil. So if we go back and we look at the May, and this is why people are saying, oh, the front month, it's really heavy, it's 22. So you can see that's the difference. Now, if you're trading a contract for difference, when the price of the front month is lower than further out months. It's called contango, and it's quite bearish. It's bearish pressure. Normally it should be the other way around. The front months are higher and further out prices are lower, further out months, because remember, these are monthly futures contracts. And so this is normally downward pressure. As each month rolls over, it will be downward pressure on the month that you're rolling into. It's not a good thing. I do think that this is an ABC correction in oil. Whether you're trading the front month or further months, we are due to rally. We're rolling over at the moment this May into June. Sort of, it should all be done tomorrow or this week. So if we look at further months out, and this is what I mean by this, for example, if we look at May 2021, okay, let's look at that. The price is $37. Okay, so that's a huge difference from where we are now at, $22. So that's what I mean. So if you're trading contract for difference and the current month you're in, the front month is at 22 and you're rolling into the next month that's 28, which is $6 higher, you will find that your price has gone up $6, but you haven't been credited anything because they will just roll you into the next month. So that's what's going on with oil. Now, if we look at, it is helpful to look at the front month continuous chart, or it's helpful to look at Brent, because I actually do think that we are at a really big, and I'm going to look at the monthly, really big support level for oil for a bounce. Now, most final legs are 5 waves, and if we go all the way from the 2011 high here, I think this is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so we're in this final leg, and this final leg should divide into 5 waves. Now sometimes the 5th wave fails, but here we've gone wave 1, 2, okay, and here 3. So if we bounce here, we start a wave 4. This previous one, this lasted at least 6 months. So we could say from here, we could see a rally that lasts at least 6 months. And where is it going to take us back to? Normally, the most common retrace is 38.2 of wave 3. So that from here takes us back to 37. The front month we're at 22, we know we're at 29, so we've still got, another $10 of upside, I think, in the front month continuous if you're trading it, before we even hit some resistance. We could go even further than that. I think we could go, up to 40 before we do our final push and retest the lows. My only thing is that oil really likes to double touch, so if you look at previous major highs and lows, they kind of almost get retested. There's like here a high and then a slightly higher high, slightly high, and same ways at lows, we made a low, a slightly lower low before we reverse. So I wouldn't be surprised if we retested the lows, but around this fib level down here, around 1850 as well, I think there's pretty major support for a bounce now that we've got a deal. And although it's going to struggle because of contango, I think that we could see some more upside to oil, and especially if everything else has a bit of a rally. Daniel says, options, Tesla options, yes. There is no storage as well. That's the other thing. You would think that you could buy the front month of oil and you could put it in storage and sell it in 6 months' time and make out like a bandit. Well, there is no storage. Take a look at dry ships. Does anybody look at dry ships? Because that's a really good indication of how much storage there is. It's just exploded. There's nowhere to put it. There's nowhere to store it on land because it's full, because nobody's allowed out of their house. Nobody's, using any oil.
It's price inelastic, so even if petrol goes to 0 right now, people still can't drive their cars.
Yeah. Joseph says it's price inelastic, so even if the price of petrol went to 0 at the moment, it doesn't matter. We're still not allowed to drive our cars. So dollar weakness really does affect Coco and K. Eric. It's the most important fundamental for cocoa and sugar. So we should see cocoa and sugar, barring nothing else, we should see the price of those go up for sure. So Matt's car is getting 4 weeks to the gallon. Does anybody, can I have a look at the pound baht? I've never looked at that chart, but I will. Yeah, why not? Let's see. Pound baht. Hopefully it's got it. If I haven't got it, I won't be able to here on TradingView. Oh, I'm really sorry I don't have it here. I'll try and get one for next week from another platform for you, and we'll look at it next week. Sorry. Well, I think a lot of things, euro weakness is quite, it's like second to the dollar at the moment. So, some of these charts like Euro Aussie look, like really good shorts to me as well. Take a look at some of those. Okay, I think I've covered everything. Again, I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope you haven't lost any loved ones. I hope you all stay well and that we will get through this and, improve our trading. I'm really grateful that markets are still open and that we have something that we can work on and improve. And even if you don't have any money and you're just trading a really small account, you can really improve your skills and use the time to improve your skills. Yeah. See you on the other side, or at least next week anyway. Bye, everyone.